Steph Curry changed the game of basketball forever.
There's nothing to think about.
No, the fact that he changed the game forever, the fact that he made shots that would put people on the end of the bench.
Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard ever? Hold up, Steph Curry's got something to say about that. With his potential 5th championship coming up, Curry's making his case for basketball immortality. But here's the real kicker. Curry was once that scrawny kid nobody wanted. Imagine being told you're too small, too weak, and then becoming the guy who changed basketball forever. That's Steph's story, and it's about to get even crazier. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
I love Gilbert Arenas, love his podcast. Brother knows basketball. I think he lost his damn mind on this one. When have you seen a shooter like Steph Curry in our lifetime?
That's enough in itself.
Well, you're missing something.
And he's making
you're
those
missing
shots.
Something. You're missing something. What I'm saying that facilitated the arrival of somebody like a Steph Curry. We can't ignore that. Now, Steph Curry's a marksman extraordinaire, and we get all of that. And he did change the game.
Steph Curry's journey to basketball stardom is a tale of defying expectations. As a skinny high school kid, big colleges wouldn't give him a second look. Coaches dismissed him, saying he was too small and weak. But Curry didn't let that stop him. He kept shooting, determined to prove them wrong. Then came Davidson College, where Curry's talent exploded. He wasn't just good, he was on fire. In his junior year, he averaged 28.6 points per game, leading the entire nation in scoring. His three-pointers were unstoppable, leaving defenders scrambling. But even after dominating in college, NBA scouts were puzzled. They couldn't wrap their heads around how this undersized player was so dominant. Curry led Davidson to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament, showing he could compete with the best. Draft night arrived, and surprisingly, Curry didn't even make the top 5 picks. The future face of basketball was the 7th overall pick. It's like the NBA missed the memo on his potential. All those doubts fueled Curry's fire. He hit the gym relentlessly, perfecting his shot and handles. Now look at him. He's become the greatest shooter the game has ever seen. And here's the kicker. This was just the beginning of Steph's story. That underdog kid was about to change the entire NBA landscape.
On the move, stationary, spot up, jump shot, floaters in the lane, floaters from 30 feet. Talk to shooters everywhere. When have you seen somebody like Steph Curry? Off the dribble, standing still, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet. But I literally said, we need to have the discussion as to whether or not this man is the greatest point guard who has ever lived.
Remember that skinny kid nobody wanted? He didn't just prove them wrong, he broke the game. Steph Curry became a player so good, he forced the entire league to change how they play. But how did one man flip the script on decades of NBA strategy? Curry turned the NBA upside down. Before Steph, three-pointers were like a nice bonus in a game. Now, they're everything. Curry started pulling up from distances that made coaches' jaws drop. We're talking half-court shots, and he was making them. This wasn't luck. It was pure skill, and Curry had it in spades.
Steph Curry is the greatest shooter God has ever created. What do you mean mimic? Who? Who is this person? Reggie Miller? Allen Houston? Left side, right side, top of the key, right wing, left wing. It doesn't matter. And the ability to create his own shot or catch a shoot. Impact and the fact that he could affect so many things because of his shooting ability. I've never seen anything like it.
Picture this. Curry's on the court, shooting from places no one's supposed to shoot from. And he's not just chucking the ball, he's draining these shots like they're layups. Defenders are lost. How do you guard a guy who can score from anywhere? Curry's movement without the ball drives the defense crazy.
This brother is the greatest shooter we have ever seen. Period. It's anywhere on the floor. It's his movement without the basketball. It's catch and shoot. It's taking you off the dribble. It's spotting up. Well, it just reminded me that this is the greatest shooter since mankind existed. I've never seen a shooter greater than Steph Curry. I mean, it's off the dribble. It's spot up.
Stephen A. Smith said it best. Curry forces defenders to have their heads on a swivel. They're so focused on him that his teammates, like Klay Thompson, get wide-open looks. It's about how Curry makes the whole team better. Every team suddenly wanted their own Curry. But there's just one problem. There's only one Steph Curry. His shooting changed the entire league. Teams started focusing on three-point shooting and spacing like never before. The Warriors' offense became the blueprint everyone wanted to copy. Curry's revolution led to a massive increase in three-point attempts across the NBA. Teams that used to live in the paint were now camping out behind the arc. He redefined what a good shot was and rewrote the entire offensive playbook for the league. But here's the thing. Curry's not done yet. He's still out there, still raining threes like it's nothing. And you know what? He's got more to prove. Because changing the game once isn't enough for Steph Curry. He's just getting started.
We're talking about the people on the Mount Rushmore of basketball are the only people to have the kind of game Steph Curry just had. So people, if you watched it, savor it. And we can't, we're talking about Magic. I mean, Magic had, of course, it was a game 6. People have to remember.
Yes.
45, 42, 15, 7.
For years, I've called Steph Curry the vanguard of this era. Not a point guard or a shooting guard, something that we'd never seen.
Remember when we said Curry was just getting started? Well, he wasn't kidding around. This guy's been racking up championships like nobody's business. But here's the real kicker. Curry might be on track to challenge Magic Johnson's legacy. Curry's not just a sharpshooter. He's a champion, plain and simple. We're talking 4 NBA championships with the Golden State Warriors. And get this, he won 3 of them in just 4 years. That's not just good, that's mind-blowing. But Curry's success isn't just about the team. He's got the individual hardware to prove his worth. 2-time NBA MVP? You bet. And in 2016, he did something unheard of. He became the first player to win MVP unanimously. Every single voter thought Curry was the best that year. Talk about making a statement. Let's put this in perspective. Magic Johnson, the guy everyone's been calling the best point guard ever, has 5 championships and 3 MVPs. Curry's right there with 4 rings and 2 MVPs. And here's the thing. Curry's still going strong. He's still out there, leading his team, changing the game. What's even crazier is how Curry's transformed basketball. He didn't just win championships, he turned the Golden State Warriors from underdogs into a dynasty. And in 2022, Curry proved all the doubters wrong by leading his team to victory without superstar help. He showed he could be the main man and still come out on top. So here's where we're at. Curry's chasing ring number 5. If he gets it, that's when things get really interesting. Because then, he's not just in the conversation for greatest point guard, he's leading it. We're talking about a guy who's changed how basketball is played, who's piled up individual and team success, and who's still got plenty left in the tank. But there's still one big question left. Even with all these achievements, even with the way he's revolutionized the game, can Curry really overtake Magic in the GOAT debate? That's what we're about to dive into next. And trust me, the answer might just blow your mind. We're talking about 2 basketball legends here, each with a trophy case that'd make any player jealous. Magic's got 5 rings and 3 MVPs. That's insane, right? But Curry's right there with 4 rings and 2 MVPs. And get this, Curry's the only player ever to win MVP unanimously. That's next level. Let's talk about how these guys changed the game. Magic was like a basketball magician, making plays that left everyone's jaws on the floor. He could see things on the court that no one else could. But Curry? He broke the game. He's out there shooting from half court like it's nothing, making defenders look silly trying to guard him. Here's something wild. Magic had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the greatest centers ever, on his team. Curry? He had, well, Curry. He made the whole Warriors team unstoppable just by being on the court. Defenders are so scared of his shot that they leave his teammates wide open. It's like he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Curry's still out there, still dropping threes like they're layups. At 35, he's still one of the best players in the league. Magic's career was cut short, but Curry's still writing his story, breaking records and changing the game. So who's the GOAT? It's about impact. Magic brought Showtime to the NBA, making basketball more exciting than ever. But Curry changed how the entire game is played. Every team now wants a shooter like Steph. But there's only one problem. There's only one Steph Curry. In the end, maybe it's about appreciating two players who changed basketball in their own unique ways. But one thing's for sure, Curry's still out there, still making history. And who knows? By the time he's done, this might not even be a debate anymore. Steph Curry's aiming to rewrite basketball history. This guy's changed how the entire game is played. From high school gyms to NBA arenas, everyone's trying to shoot like Curry. But check this out. Curry's impact is huge, whether he ends up as the GOAT or not. He's inspired a whole generation of players. Experts say Curry's shooting and movement have made him one of the most impactful players ever. Even Michael Jordan and LeBron James recognize how he's transformed the game. You know what's crazy? Curry's influence goes beyond the NBA. He's changed how young players train and develop. When you see a kid pulling up from way downtown, you know who inspired that. Curry's not just a player. He's shaping the future of basketball. That's a legacy that'll stick around for a long, long time.